I think we're live. I think so. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Retro Fandango, episode 186. I'm Kevin, a.k.a. Buried on Mars. I'm here with my buddy Richard, a.k.a. Ramvox. We got a stellar show for you today. That's it.
Yes.
That's the intro. No, let me get this stuff. House cleaning's probably out of date by the time you hear this, but it technically is still...
It's accurate.
It's still July for...
Look, I think by now we've realized we're doing the show for the live audience.
There's people that chirp when the audio doesn't come up later.
Yeah, but they don't complain until, like a week later, 2 weeks later anyway.
They give me a nice grace period. I get a nice grace period. Cartridge Club is playing Super Mario Galaxy, so get out there. And you got like a day and a half to play, because there's 31 days, right, in July? Yeah. So you got a day and a half. If you're over where Richard is, you only got a day left. Play Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii. RF Gen is playing Sky Blazer on the Super Nintendo. You got hours left to beat the bandy, and it's a legit beat the bandy for Tetris. I think Duke is having some issues. There's one person I saw there that had like an incredible score that no one can catch.
Yeah, I haven't checked to see what the top score is, but I believe that's still Matt's wife. That she holds the record. I was playing along. I didn't really think I was going to progress much, but I was able to break 100,000, which for me was pretty good.
I don't even know if I have Tetris on the NES.
Oh, you absolutely do. Everybody has Tetris. You probably got 3 copies.
I have Tetris. I got lots of Tetris. I got Tetris DS. I think that's my favorite Tetris. But I don't know if I have it on the NES. That's the one you guys are playing, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I actually have it. I'd have to look. And then sell it, because it's time to sell games. Selling games is... Yeah.
That's what all the cool kids are doing.
I just sold a game today. I sold Resident Evil on the GameCube. That has been up there.
I thought you had purged all your GameCube stuff.
I did, but I still had some stock that's been it's been up on eBay for like a year. And finally somebody bought it. See, that's the thing. Like when you set your price for something and everyone's like, it's too high. Just leave it there, because eventually the market will catch up to that price and someone will be like, that's a deal. And you'll sell it for the price you want to sell it for. Pretty much what I did.
I know I'm not sure why, but I have the Resident Evil games wish listed on GOG or Steam or wherever they are. And I noticed they go on sale once in a while for like $10, something like that. I'm guessing your GameCube game sold for quite a bit more than that.
It was 15. I gave the guy a deal.
Yeah,
15. I
thought you were getting like $1,000 a game.
No. This one, well, it was missing a manual, and it was a Blockbuster game. So yeah,
so it wasn't a real game.
No.
You're not a real collector.
Blockbuster copy. So, yes, there we got Bill in the chat. eBay fees on games, though. Jeepers, yes, their fees are. I think they increased or something. I don't know. They're not cheap. Since they moved all of their, like, you used to do everything through PayPal, and they would take their chunk or whatever and go through PayPal, and you could keep track of it. Now they just dump it in your account, and they take whatever the heck they want off of it. So I don't know what goes on over there. We got Kyle saying greetings.
Wow.
Look at that. Full house. You got 4 people watching. That's a full house.
I can't keep up with all these comments.
I know. It's pretty wild. Can you imagine that? Do you think like we'll just never get to the point where the comment section is going so fast you can't even... Like, I wonder how people... Like, there's people that have that. You go on there and it's like comment section. It's just a flood of people commenting, knowing that whatever they comment is just going to go away. It's going to be gone.
Back in our heyday, if we had this technology then, I bet you we would have had an episode or 2 like that.
I don't think it would be going that fast.
I didn't say that fast, but fast enough that we would not be able to keep up with it. Because sometimes I cannot keep up with what's going on right now.
Yeah, I can hardly keep up with this, and this is 3 comments. That's enough.
Okay, there are 4 if you count the duck.
The Duck is saying the live viewer comments show. Yeah, it's with the instructions. Very good.
Yeah, see, I didn't even read that one.
Yeah,
I was
there you
too
go.
busy going to the latest one.
There you go. So
You're
how you
going to get
been?
us in trouble.
Me? How you
I
been?
was
What have you been
looking
up
at
to?
what you added to the outline here. I was trying to avoid that.
What, He-Man?
I didn't want to be old white dude complaining on the internet about
Did you
cartoons.
did you watch it?
I did.
Well, I watched. I figured you would watch it, and I didn't see it in the outline. I was kind of surprised. So, but I just all I watched was the very first episode,
Okay.
and I know that people
Are we
come.
doing this already?
Why
Oh my
not?
goodness.
What the heck?
I
Why
gotta
not?
warm up for this.
Let's go. Let's do it. I know that people come to Retro Fandango because there's opinions all over the place, right? There's opinions on Twitter for and against, and people come to Fandango because they want to know what the right opinion is. And I'm going to tell you what the right opinion is right now. I only watched the first one, the very first one. I just watched it like at 4:00, like an hour and 10 minutes ago. And I got to say that the show is pretty good. I enjoyed it. I liked the first episode. I thought it was good. So no old white man complaining here. I thought it was like a natural progression from like all the tropes and everything from the original series. You know, like Tila was always left in the dark. She didn't know what the heck was going on and stuff. And Prince Adam and He-Man and the whole bit. And Skeletor always trying to get in the castle, and then he finds out like maybe the castle isn't exactly what I need. Maybe there's something in there. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. We're talking about He-Man, Bill. So what'd you think?
I think I'm right on the same page as you. My opinion of it. I watched all 5. There's only 5. I'll try to be careful, Bill. But yeah, I think you get everything you need to know out of that first episode. My opinion is that it's somewhere between it's fine and pretty good. It's somewhere in there. The only problem I have really, well, I got a couple of problems. One is exactly what I saw on Twitter and how you wrote it in the outline is everyone still refers to it as the new He-Man show. Because that's what I'll always call it. I always called it He-Man.
Yeah.
It's He-Man. And I was absolutely right when I talked about it a couple episodes ago, whatever it was, that the trailer is extremely misleading. And it was front loaded with just everything that happens in the first like 10 minutes of the first episode. But I agree. I think there were 3 things I knew. Well, 3 things I had in my head. There was the stuff I hoped they would do, the stuff I knew they had to do in creating a He-Man cartoon for 2021, and then there's the stuff that I had hoped they wouldn't do, and they did all of it. They hit every category, and they did it all somehow. So I appreciate that they're making attempts to keep it lighthearted and keep the quirks from the original.
Yeah.
A lot of the silliness and the one-liners and they actually still use the names He-Man and stuff. I thought they might get rid of that. But then they update, they diversify, they make it a little more serious. Of course, it's not episode by episode. It's all linked to one big story.
Right.
So that was kind of natural. And then the stuff I hope they wouldn't do is, there are some cases where what I want to call the really style of writing, where they do the corny stuff, but then they also comment on the corny stuff.
Yeah.
Like they can't just leave it alone and let it be. They have to do that. And and it's full of those bet you didn't see that coming moments that just seem to make it. That's writing these days. Oh, you didn't see that coming. I don't know, but overall, I thought it was fine. Like, what are you gonna do? The only thing, the problem I have is that I am old enough to see beyond the show, where all I see is the focus groups and the meetings and the corporate decisions behind the scenes. I don't doubt that Kevin Smith had a direction he wanted to go in.
Yeah.
But my overall review is that it's too safe. They make a lot of.
You watched the whole thing?
I watched all 5, yeah.
Okay.
And my opinion is too safe in that it seems like Kevin Smith and whoever else behind there said, you know what would be fun? Let's do this. But got to be careful of those fanboys. So all the decisions they make are vague and ambiguous. So basically, I think they purposely did a short run, just 5 episodes. So now they're looking at the reaction of people, and now they can say, okay, what are we going to do? They left themselves out for everything.
Yeah.
So if people got too upset, they can go back and change it. Or if people like it, they can continue on that way. They purposely left themselves lots of space to maneuver based on fan reaction. And I wish they had just instead decided, we're going to do this story and we're just going to do it because it's a fun story.
I don't think anything's done like that though anymore, unless it's like a dude that's funding the project himself.
I know, and that's why I say the only problem I have is that I can see past to the decision-making process, and that's just because I'm watching a cartoon that's made for kids. Well, no, this is made for middle-aged kids.
I think it's made for both. I think they're like it's playing on both. You know,
yeah, but that's the thing. It's playing on both.
Yeah.
When it's not lost on me that the original cartoon and most cartoons from our childhood were designed simply to sell toys. You know, it was just marketing. That's all they were. But when they made the decision, okay, let's make a cartoon to sell some toys, they handed it off to people, and they said, you know what, you got to put all these toys in the cartoon. But then they just sat down and they wrote stories, and they're just like, this is a fun story. Let's do this. And they were writing, I don't know, 24 episodes at a time. So they were making their decisions.
Oh, they're cranking them out.
Even they were
more,
just,
I think
they
it was
were
more
just
than 24.
deciding, this is fun. This is an entertaining story for me. So I'm going to write it. Kids might enjoy it. And that's how they decided what to do. All they would do is then introduce new characters to sell more toys. But now it just seems like, you know, they got to play it so safe.
Hey, there's Rocket Sauce. And we have Brian79J.
Hey, I like that number.
79?
Yeah. Okay. The people that are upset should re-examine their lives. They can watch the original series if that's what they want. Ooh, taking a stand, Bill.
What because I haven't read any of the complaints. All I saw online was something about it's the Tila show, it's not the He-Man show. And I only watched the pilot, and there was a lot of He-Man in it, so I don't know what they were talking about.
Well, that's the thing. You watch the pilot, there's a lot of He-Man in it.
Okay.
I don't think it's a spoiler at this point. Yeah, the story does focus on Tila, which I somehow expected. I don't know if that was released somehow, and they mentioned it. Maybe I got it off that Kevin Smith thing, but I kind of expected it to be taken off He-Man because his name isn't in the title anymore. It's not He-Man in the Masters of the Universe, so I figured they were going to switch focus. But I guess that's it, because especially when you see the trailer and it's like, oh, look how cool this is, and everything you see is just the first. It's flashback stuff, and then the show moves forward. And it just kind of recreates the character, and people are kind of angry and bitter, and you know that's not something I wanted in a He-Man cartoon. But I don't know. If you're making a new Masters of the Universe for 2021, this is exactly what it's going to be. There's no way around it.
Well, and I like the fact that it's not like it's the same game that you watched on the old cartoon. It's not.
To a degree.
Masters of the Universe Kids or something like that. You know, like the Flintstone Kids or something. You know?
Yeah.
Like the Ghostbusters movie, the new Ghostbusters movie. It's the Ghostbusters Kids. It's not the Ghostbusters. Where the Ray answers the phone at some point. That's all you're gonna get.
Hey, I haven't seen the trailer yet.
I,
Don't spoil it for me.
you can watch the trailer, and then you can watch
No, I don't
Jason
want
Reitman.
to. I just want to wait and see the movie when it
Then
comes
you can
out.
watch Jason Reitman break down his own trailer. That was something else. That was something else. Anyways,
Got to build the hype. If you
I
watch
like-
a few more, if you watch a few more episodes, you'll probably see what people are commenting on.
well, I don't mind the fact that it's going to shift towards Tila. There was episodes of the original show that would focus on, you know, one or two, like a different character sometimes, and He-Man would be in the background. I think the only difference was
Well, that's kind of, you got to watch a few more episodes and then
Well,
maybe you'll see.
I was just going to say the only difference was back in the day, all those shows were, you know, it wasn't a continuing serial, right? It was just a contained episode. So
Yeah.
if you got one Tila episode, well, that was it. Then you got back to He-Man the next day, right? Whereas this, like, that's one story that's stretched out into 5 episodes.
Yeah.
Like even this, like I could tell, like, you know, back in the day, this would be like they could do this in 20 minutes. You know, like I could tell this is like the first 5 minutes of the old cartoon stretched out into 25 minutes. But you know, it was entertaining. It was fun, and I finally felt like one of those Marvel geeks watching the Marvel movies, and you know, like how they bring in all the side characters and that. And I have no idea who the hell they are. Like I know who the main guys are, but I don't know who, like, you know. Oh, look, it's Flip Weenix from the alternate universe of Hulk, and I'm like, oh, Flip Weenix. I didn't know Flip Weenix was even a character, but he's back in there somewhere, and they spot him. Whereas like this one, I'm watching and I'm like, oh, look, it's Fisto. Remember Fisto with the big fist?
Yep.
And then Trapjaw was on one of those floating toy things that used to spin around. You know, so I felt like a comic book geek.
Yeah, watch the next 4 episodes and you'll kind of understand why fat bearded people are up in arms.
All right. What's this? Side chat with Bill. The Jack Ryan series was fantastic. Oh, don't take recommendations from Bill. It's not accepted here. Go on his show. Oh wait, you can't go over to his show and talk about it.
That's dirty.
Sorry. Anyways, watch it. I think it's good. Go for it. I like the fact, and I like how the characters were all consistent too. Like they weren't like a different character. Like I was thinking, is Cringer still going to be Cringer? Is Orko still going to be Orko?
Watch the second episode and
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're not like as stilted and whatever as like the original cartoon, but you know.
No, but I mean, again, I'm fine with this cartoon. I'm not gonna rag on it for, you know, updating itself. But part of the charm for the original cartoon for me, and I am one of those people that'll just watch the original, is that it was kind of corny and cheesy and quaint, and it doesn't bother me that, you know, their costumes made no sense and, you know, they had weird unprotective armor. It was all just kids' fantasy.
Yeah.
And this tries, I'd say this show is more like a comic book where it fleshes things out more and tries to tell a deeper story.
Right.
Because I never read the He-Man comics that were released back in the day, but I imagine they were a bit more in depth than the cartoon, which was just in and out, you know, get it done.
I don't know if they were more in depth. They were definitely more gory.
Yeah,
like
there was probably a little more something to it. And I guess the other part of me is just, I feel like, again, looking behind the scenes, I think this is Kevin Smith wanting to get the reputation of like what Frank Miller did for Batman. It's like he kind of wants to, I'm doing that for the He-Man, you know, I'm making it a little more serious, you know, deeper characters and stuff.
Well, so. I think you have to. I mean, I think he's trying. I looked at it and it looked like something where you were trying to make something for someone my age, you know, because I still get all like the references and that, and it's like it's a story that I can follow, and it's a little more, you know. And then there was stuff there for kids. I could see like kids would like the fight scenes and that. I did like have Mark Hamill too as Skeletor. I thought that was really good.
You know, I didn't realize it was him until from the trailer, and then I started seeing his name appear, and then okay, yeah.
And I guess the clue too should have been that the series was going to be a little bit focused on Tila, considering they got like a, I don't know, maybe she's a B-list star at this point, but they got Sarah Michelle Gellar.
That's my one complaint
to voice Tila, but they got a nobody for He-Man. Who's that guy? Is he somebody? I don't know. I don't even know his name.
If you don't need him to show up every day.
What's what's wrong with Sarah Michelle Gellar?
For some reason I really feel like she doesn't have an attractive voice. I don't like the sound of her voice.
Okay. I've never.
It's just listening to it. It doesn't. Her voice doesn't match the character that they're creating to me. I don't know. And because she's, the one who's there all the time, you just have to hear that voice.
All right. Well, maybe it'll bother me after a few more episodes.
I like the original Tila's voice.
Yeah, that was fine. Yeah, and it would have been cool if they would have brought back.
I imagine most of these people are dead.
No, because I noticed that Mossman sounded exactly like Mossman from back in the day, because that was one of my favorite characters on the cartoon.
Well, they do have the original Skeletor, Oppenheimer. Is that his name? He's in the show in some capacity. I forget who he was voicing.
Well, I looked it up because I was like, that voice sounded like really spot on. So I went and looked it up, and it was the original guy. But he's 91, so I don't know if he could pull off an entire series. He was only in the pilot for a short while. But
one thing I learned watching that Power of Grayskull documentary is that the guy who did He-Man, the voice actor for him, he was apparently extremely shy and never did any appearances and never wanted to be recognized publicly as He-Man. He felt like he was, not worthy of going out in front of the kids and saying, "I'm He-Man" and all this.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. He just disappeared.
I know he showed up in an episode of Family Guy.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. But he only comes on, I think he says, "I have the power" or something like that, and that was it.
Oh, yeah. Did they get him, or did they just get a voice clip?
Let's see. Bill says there's big dialogue moments. Is he talking about He-Man? I don't know what he's talking about. Flip Weenix, issue 42, teams up with Moon Knight. Oh, who knew
What's
that?
a Flip Weenix?
You've never heard of Flip Weenix?
I thought you were making that up.
I was.
Like a silly name.
I was, and Kyle's playing along.
Okay.
Flip Weenix. It does sound legit, though, right?
I
see
guess.
It written there. We see it written there. Flip Weenix looks like a legit character. They should totally do that.
I think the Cena. What is that?
I don't know. Comics. Comics came out first. I think he was trying to say, I think the comics came out first.
How does that turn into Ceno?
It might have been like one of the mistype things.
That is some mistype.
Well, like you're typing and then you sneeze and you accidentally send something. I've done it before, or I've used that excuse before. Anyways, that's 25 minutes now on He-Man, so that's enough.
Oh my goodness.
What else we got? We got really not much else.
Yeah, I didn't put much else in here. I didn't write anything for games. Oh, I got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
For all those out there in the comments, how old do you think Jennifer Tilly is?
Oh, she's probably in her 50s, I would say. 54.
A little low there.
Low. 57?
62.
62.
Yeah,
I mean,
saw a
like
picture of her on the Twitter, because apparently they're making a new Chucky TV show.
Really?
Yeah.
So she's Bill's age. I didn't know that. That's insane. I would have guessed she was younger than Bill.
They went to high school together.
Yeah. Well, she was in her 20s, I guess, going on 30 when I was a teen. So.
Oh, too late to the punch there, Bill.
Yeah. How old is Kevin? I am younger than you, Bill. Younger than you. That's all you need to know.
Well, they did that Mark Hamill Child's Play movie, but I guess they're just cutting their losses and going back to the original. It looks like Jennifer Tilly and Brad Dourif going back for Child's Play.
At this point, it's just like whatever makes the most money, right? Whatever makes money.
Yeah.
If this one didn't make money, they just go to the other one. Fans don't seem to care. They just want whatever, right?
Yep. Just give me my product. Give it to me the way I want it. That's it.
Speaking of old men, I was hanging out with my father-in-law. Oh, I don't even know if he's my father-in-law. He's Sarah's stepdad. Does that make him my father-in-law?
Stepfather-in-law? What do you call him?
George.
Then I guess he's George.
So Sarah's mom had a thing happen, and she had to go to the hospital, and it was quite serious. So we, for the first time since Christmas of 2019, we had to make a trip up to Sudbury. It was a weekend of first last weekend. Like we did, it was the first time we took a trip to Sudbury. First time we ate inside of a restaurant. First time I shook someone's hand. First time I gave someone a hug. That wasn't Sarah. It's just nothing but first. But yeah, so we went up to Sudbury, and they have restrictions here in Ontario that only 2 people can visit someone in a hospital, like two people max, not 2 people at a time, but just like a caregiver and a primary caregiver, or a primary caregiver and an alternate caregiver. That's what they call it. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And we didn't find that out until after we made the trip, like the 4-hour trip up to Sudbury. We got in there and they're like, yeah, no, we're only supposed to allow 2 people in. So we just basically, got friendly with the nurse, and she let us in and that. So Sarah got to see her mom a few times, and it's kind of stupid that these rules were set in place, last year when the pandemic was at its peak, and now everyone's vaccinated, or most people who are vaccinated. I don't know if they really need to adhere to these rules as closely, because like if you get sick at this point, you're only supposed to get, it's like a cold. You get like a cold kind of thing. You're not going to be in the hospital with a tube down your throat. You can still pass it on to people, so you got to be careful. Like I'm not saying like don't wear masks and stuff like that, but there are some rules that I think should be relaxed a little bit, and that's one of them. And I think the nurse kind of agreed with us, and that's how we were able to get in to see her. But so last weekend I was hanging a lot with George, because we were up there, and we there was one time where we were visiting Sarah's mom in the hospital, and she was getting tired, so we all decided to leave, and there was myself and George, and then Sarah and her sister, and we were going to split and meet up at the restaurant. I was going with George, and Sarah and her sister went, and we were going to meet up at a restaurant. Pouring rain. It's great, like just rain's coming down like crazy outside. We you have to pay for parking at the hospital, so George pays for his parking, gets his ticket, and he walks outside, and he's like, I brought this umbrella with me. I guess I should use it, right? Because it's raining, and I should use my umbrella. I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So he uses the umbrella, and we're walking. It's like, it's not the most masculine umbrella. It was his wife's umbrella, and he didn't it didn't extend all the way either. He only had it like extended halfway, and he's like walking around this umbrella.
Is it one of those mini like totes umbrellas that has the 5-inch handle?
Let's just say I don't know how much this umbrella was doing. Anyways, the size of the umbrella is not the point of the story. When we get into the car, he's closing the umbrella, and he closes it up. Now he can't find the ticket. It's like, I don't know where he's looking for the ticket. And he's like, I can't find it anymore. So I don't know. He's like, I had it in my hand with the umbrella. I think I dropped it. And it's pouring rain out there. You like the asphalt is just covered in water, like moving water. It's like falling and rushing down. So we get out of the car. We're looking for. He couldn't find it on himself anywhere. Get out of the car. We're looking for this ticket everywhere. And finally he says, okay, I'm going to have to walk back and I'm going to have to talk to them. Like, okay, go ahead. So I'm looking for the ticket. I still like, what else am I going to like? What am I going to do? So I just walk around and I finally found the ticket. He dropped it like right by the driver's side door of the car, but the water like took it and it ended up underneath the truck. Like there was a truck that was beside him and like it just got wedged underneath the truck. So I pick up the ticket. I'm like, man, that's awesome. I find it. I'm like looking at the time and everything. The times are all, they check out. I guess it's great, but it's soaking wet. It's like, it's not like it's like wax. Like there's some sort of something on it to make it a little more durable, like a ticket, but it's basically just paper, right? So this thing isn't going to go into the machine. It's just going to get mushed. So George comes back. And I said, I found the ticket, but I don't think it's going to work. So he's like, well, we're going to have to try because I couldn't find anyone. I don't know if I can get out of here without the ticket. So we're in the car and, he has the ticket in his hand and he's like shaking it and stuff. And he's like, okay, we better go. So he starts backing out and we're getting closer into the thing. And I'm like, hey, you're trying to dry that thing off. What if we like crank up the heat and like hold the ticket up to the heat? So he's like, yeah. So he gives me the ticket and got the heat cranked and we're trying to dry out this ticket on the heater and it's getting closer to our turn to get out. And I'm like, it's not dry yet. So he's waving like other people to go around him. Like, hey, go around, go in front of me kind of thing. And people are all confused, right? Because everyone's just trying to get out of there. And so some people clued in and they were going out and I'm still trying to dry this thing. And it's like, go, go, go. And they go. And then there's this one person that just like didn't get it. Right. It's like, they're just sitting there like, go. And they're honking their horn. And I'm like, George, you better just go. And we better try this ticket. So we get up to the thing and George is a little hard of hearing, right? He can't hear very much. He's got hearing aids, but the way he describes it is that the hearing aids amplify every sound, right? Like it's just everything gets amplified. So like when he rolls down the window, all the rain that's making noise gets amplified. And if you try to talk to him, it just gets like, he's got to like focus on what you're saying. So we get up to the ticket thing and he tries to put the ticket. It's not going to work. So I'm like, you better just press the button and talk to the guy. So he presses the button. And he's like, what do you say? I say, he's asking you what it is. He's like, okay, I got my ticket here. And it dropped and it's all wet and I can't get in and he's going on and on. Meanwhile, the security guy just like whatever, and he raises the gate, right? And George is still trying to explain to him what happened. I'm like, George, the gate's open. He's like, what? Oh, I'm trying to talk to this guy. I'm like, George, the gate's open. And he turns and he's like, oh, okay, thank you, guy. Finally get out of there, but man, that was good times. It was fun. So I kept the ticket just for the heck of it.
Ticket to the George show.
Yeah, so I have that memory. But
listen, you're reintegrating into society. You had like a social interaction and you enjoyed it.
I don't know if I enjoyed social interaction with everybody, but with the family, it was fine. The family's good. But restaurants were fine. We stayed in a hotel too. That was another first time since, and the hotel, they don't clean your room anymore. Like if you're there for 2 nights, they don't come and clean your room on the second night. Like when we came back from our day out, it was all still gone. It's a Latvian accent, Bill. Latvian. Northern Ontario Latvian.
And then where Dr. Doom is from? Hey,
Latvia? He might be. I don't know.
So what about Sarah's mom? She's still in the hospital?
Yeah, she is. She's going to be there for a while. It's I think she'll be fine. She'll be good, but she had a pretty serious operation and it's going to take a while for her to recover from it. But last I heard yesterday, she was up walking with the walker. So That's good. Yeah, it's lots of progress there. She's doing better every day, but they're both getting up there. They're both in their 80s, and I remember having a conversation with them about 5 years ago about getting them into like more, not assisted living, but like into like an apartment or something, like one of those luxury apartments where you got food and amenities and stuff like that.
Right.
And they were both against it. They're like, no, we're going to stay into this house until we're gone. And then you're going to just have to come in and clean it all up. And I'm like, oh, great. Because I did that with my mom's house already. And, the stuff that I had to throw out because we had no time, it still kills me. Like, we threw out like some really good furniture and whatnot. But he's coming around to that now that this has happened, because he's having to look after himself and whatnot. So
a couple of years ago, my mom moved out of our where we grew up, and she's not in like a home or anything. She's just in one of those she's like in a community that you have to be over a certain age to live there.
Yeah.
And they have their staff people that go out and they shovel your walk and everything, and they take care of all the outdoor stuff. They'll cut the grass, and if you need any work done on the house, and they come over and they'll look at it, and they got like a little clubhouse and that sort of thing. But there's people there that work there to help you when you need help.
Yeah, that's totally what they need. Plus, they're looking after Sarah's aunt, who is suffering from Alzheimer's, and this is just a recipe for disaster because she's in her 70s, they're in their 80s, looking after this person in their 70s. I'm like, this is not a sustainable plan. Like, this is not something that's going to be able to last very long. So hopefully everything's getting worked out over there. I hear it is, but anyway,
4-hour drive though. Wow.
Yeah, it's a 4-hour drive. It's good times.
Nice.
3 hours I could do, no problem. Standing on my head. You can just do 3 hours and you get out of the car. It's like, yeah, that was good. That was okay. But that last hour, the 4th-hour drive. Oh, Sarah's aunt is in her 80s too. I was trying to be kind and try not to remember how old Bill is. I was just trying to be kind.
Poor Bill. He's just showing support. Coming here just for a good time.
Hey,
tries
man,
to help out with the comments.
I just have to compensate for when I'm not in the comments for STC Pod. I get so much shrapnel. Although, I think we got to have a funeral for that show because when's the last time you've seen a new episode of STC Pod? It's been a while. Was it pre-pandemic? Might have been. It's been a while.
Hey, speaking of Bill, the other day, Steven posted a picture of that was like Top Gun, that new Top Gun movie. Did
Bill's
that ever come
movie?
out?
No, I think it's one of those like they keep waiting for the pandemic to finish.
Is that like Tom Cruise doesn't want his movie going direct to video?
Yeah, well,
would kind of count as straight to DVD quality.
I guess I saw that there was something where Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for putting her movie right on Disney Plus.
I saw something about that. I didn't read it because I don't care.
I didn't read it either. I just saw the headline, but I just thought,
but isn't that what's going on now?
Apparently it was a breach of contract. So I don't know. Maybe it's something where they make less money if it goes directly to a streaming service or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know. All I know is that here in Canada, the thing was like over $30 to rent the movie. I'm like, I'll wait till it goes to regular Disney
Isn't
Plus.
it rent? Doesn't it just go to the streaming service?
No.
It
was like an extra thing that you had to pay on top of it.
So you pay for the service and then you got to pay on top of it.
Yeah. But they were like, oh, but you can watch it as many times as you like. I'm like, yeah, great, thanks. Whoop-de-doo. They get a cut at the box office, says Rocket Sauce. So that's probably what she's suing for. So her compensation was based on theater ticket sales. She must have been paid to do the movie, though.
Yeah, they get paid quite a bit, especially these Marvel people that are roped up in these multi-film contracts. Rich people complaining that they're not richer.
Well, it's like the Chris Rock thing. Sure, Sarah Michelle Gellar, not what's her name, Scarlett Johansson's rich, but Disney's wealthy. It's nice to be rich, but you want to be wealthy. Everyone says LeBron James is rich. Yeah, but you want to be the guy signing LeBron James checks. That guy's wealthy. That's my Chris Rock impression.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I could not tell the difference.
So I don't know. I don't fault her for. What the heck? She's just suing Disney. Who cares? Like, what are we going to got to defend Disney? Who cares? Go ahead, sue those guys. They suck anyways. They're probably trying to screw Scarlett Johansson out of some money. So I don't blame her. Go for it. All right, we got not much left here.
Yep. You ever see Poltergeist?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I'd never seen it before, and I watched it, and it's pretty goofy. I wasn't expecting such a silly movie.
I mean,
it's full of moments like the cliches of people in a movie theater shouting at the screen saying "Don't do that, don't do that." This movie intentionally does all those things, and I couldn't quite figure it out. By the end of it, I thought there were some really fun moments, but then it just didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
I like Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah. I could see it. Like, I remember when I was a kid, there were scenes that people had talked about, like the guy peeling off his face or something in the mirror.
Yes.
Yeah. And I could see that being freaky when you were a kid. I've never seen it as a kid. I watched it. There you go. Sarika Sim says Poltergeist was scary when she was 8.
Yep.
So there you go.
It feels like a Gremlins kind of movie, which makes sense. Spielberg was behind this too, and it's like creepy, but it's not like really scary. It's more like family friendly creepy.
Well, I wouldn't say it's like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Not that, but it's scary for kids. It's probably some little gross out effects for teens, but then as an adult, I don't know. Odd decisions in this movie. It was made in the early 80s, so I guess maybe that's part of it. But like there's an older daughter in the family who's 16, and then they're having work done. They're having a pool put in.
Yes.
And all the construction workers are like doing cat calls at her and everything. And her mom's like right there in the window watching this, and she's just smiling like, yeah, well, she flipped them off. There's my girl. Like, I don't know. You want to step in there and say, hey, you creepy dudes, get out of here?
It was the early 80s, man.
Yeah, I guess.
I get that's the excuse. Well, it's funny you mention a Spielberg movie, even though he didn't direct that movie.
There's debate on that.
Is there?
I was looking it up because it was Tobe Hooper who did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then I was just looking in the facts after I watched it, and there's the whole big thing of who actually directed that movie. Apparently, Spielberg, because he had done E.T. that year or something. There was something where he wasn't allowed to direct another movie that year, but basically people are saying that he was the one actually directing the movie, and he kind of took over for Tobe Hooper, and maybe he was just there as a workaround so Spielberg could do this movie too. And then I don't
know. Okay, well, it doesn't count for our next week. We're on the LeBrain train. We're doing top 10 Steven Spielberg movies, and it doesn't count because we're only doing the movies that Spielberg directed,
that he's credited as a director.
I guess that he's credited as a director.
Okay.
You know what? But Poltergeist wouldn't make my list either way. So
right. Well, Jurassic Park's not going to make your list. So
no.
I have no idea what would be. Jaws will be on there.
I don't want to say.
I'm pretty sure Jaws has to be on there. I mean, even if it's not in your top 5, it's still going to make top 10. I'm going to guess I've still never seen this, but Saving Private Ryan. That was Spielberg, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Okay.
and I have that slated for a rewatch, for a refresh, so I can
Okay.
find if it'll make my list and what position it would be in.
Gosh, I'm struggling to think of Spielberg's movies now.
I can give you some Spielberg
Oh,
movies. Well,
Duel will be on your list.
Duel might make it.
List of
Why is LeBrain doing movies? Because he was asked to.
Steven Spielberg movies.
He's
yeah,
actually
they
done.
only do music.
He actually has done movies like last year when he was first starting the show. He did a few of them, but he was asked to. So he said, "What the heck?"
Okay. Raiders is going to be on your list.
Maybe.
All right. I'm going to guess things that are not on your list. That'll
Yeah.
be
Okay.
easier.
That's more fun.
War of the Worlds with
Heck
Tom
no.
Cruise.
That
Catch
piece of
Me If You
garbage.
Can.
I got to watch that one again.
Although it does have Tom Hanks in it, so that
I think
might...
I remember liking it. I have to watch it again though.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull
Hell no.
will not be on your
no.
list.
No.
Hook will not be on your list.
I started to rewatch that and then I stopped rewatching that.
You know what? I rewatched it not too long ago, and I'm okay with Hook. I think that's a fun kids movie.
I'm sure. I'm sure
It's got wonderful sets that you're not going to see anymore, where they built the entire like huge set that everybody can run around in, and they can move the camera freely. And
I didn't get that far.
I thought it looked like a lot of fun.
Like I think there's like the Spielberg schmaltz. There's like he's got a schmaltzy thing that like sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and I don't know.
AI will not be on your list.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
What was that newspaper one he did? I never saw that.
The Post.
The Post.
It wasn't very good.
The way you said it, I guess it's not on your list.
It wasn't very good. No. You can actually go check that out on my Letterboxd. It wasn't very good.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That's a tough one. I don't know if you would like that one.
They might.
Right,
I don't know. They might. I don't know.
Or maybe you're going to go for the brand new West Side Story.
I hated the original West Side Story. That movie's so stupid, and it's got my guy in it from what the heck's his name? Why am I blanking on him? He directed the motion picture. Robert Wise. Robert Wise directed that. Can you believe that? I don't get that.
I like the original West Side Story, but I can't believe that they're remaking movies that swept the Oscars. You know, like it seems like a whole new category of out of ideas.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sarah says there aren't too many good ones, in her opinion. Actually, yeah, we sat down and she was coming up with her list and she was struggling to get, I think she got to 9.
Spielberg has a lot of financially successful movies.
Yeah. And
they tend to be a lot of fun. They tend to be a lot of fun moments in them. But I don't know. I would imagine I've not seen even a third of his films. You got the Indiana Jones trilogy and Jurassic Park. That's what I think of as Spielberg.
You've only seen those? You've seen
No,
Jaws.
I'm sure I've seen more, but like I don't. I kind of want to rewatch AI.
Sarah's fighting with you now. She's saying financial successful does not equal good.
No, I that's why I said financially successful. He's a summer blockbuster director.
I'm just stirring the pot.
I don't know. Did he direct Christmas Vacation? That's a good movie.
No, that was Chris Columbus.
No, it wasn't. Chris Columbus wrote it. The director is somebody that I never heard of before or after.
Christmas Vacation. I think you're right.
I am right.
Right.
I'm 100% right.
Because the director is Jeremiah S. Schrackner.
See?
Chekik. He also directed some episodes of Gossip Girl. He directed the movie Benny and June. I know Sarah likes that one. Chuck. The show Chuck. Remember that show?
Nope.
He directed Van Halen Video Hits Volume 1. The video for When It's Love. There you go. Well, he's working. That's good for him.
He's a working guy.
Working guy. Okay, well, recently for Spielberg, I'll tell you what I watched. You can go see him on Letterboxd if you want to really see what I think of these movies. But I watched Bridge of Spies with Tom Hanks.
Never even heard of that.
It came out a few years ago. It came out 2015, and it's about this. Oh, he was an attorney, and what is
rocket sauce?
What about the non-using Mexican equivalent, Steven Spielberg? Spielberg. Yeah. So this guy was an attorney in the 60s or in the 50s, and there was the CIA caught a Russian spy, and they needed someone to defend him because he was, caught on American soil and he deserves, an American trial. So this guy was Tom Hanks is basically an attorney for this law firm, and this law firm gets the case and they just give it to Tom Hanks, and it's all like pro-America, like let's give this guy a real American trial, and everyone's like, he's just some Russian spy, who cares? Like Tom Hanks, like, no, Constitution, America trial. So then that happens. He gets him off the death penalty. This is all within the first few minutes of the movie, so I'm not spoiling anything. And then later on, he gets a job to start negotiating with other countries to bring, because now he is he knows the spy, and he's basically a bargaining chip for other countries, right? It's like, hey, Russia, we got your spy. How about you give us, someone that you have that we need, one of our spies, kind of thing. So that's what the movie's about. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. Like I said, the schmaltz thing. Like I watched The Post, and his schmaltz thing didn't really work in that one. There wasn't really enough stake. Like there wasn't enough at stake. It's it's about the Washington Post, and the Washington Post is still around. Like it's oh, what happened to this paper? Obviously, it became a huge paper, and it's about them going from a mom and pop business in the Washington area to covering big, huge stories. But the funny thing is that even in the movie, the New York Times keeps outdoing them. Like the story comes out in the New York Times first, and then they decide what they want to do with the story from the New York Times. The entire time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, maybe we should go over to the New York Times and see what's happening over there, because this Washington Post thing just seems to they're just trying to figure out what to do with these New York Times stories. It's kind of lame. But Bridge of Spies was much better. It was good. It was good. And then I watched The Sugarland Express from 1974. It's got it's one of his early films, of course, and it's got Goldie Hawn in it and William Atherton. Do you know who William Atherton is?
Walter Peck.
That's right. So it's got a Ghostbusters connection. So of course I enjoy it. Yeah, that movie is good, man. It's a good movie. And of course, it's in the 70s, so it's gritty. You got car chases, you got crime. It's like you're living in the pages of an Elmore Leonard novel. I'd say watch Sugarland Express.
Okay.
Then I rewatched Minority Report.
That one, yeah.
There's some twists and turns in the second half of that movie that I can appreciate, but the whole setup just doesn't make any sense. We put these human beings in this milk bath, and they can suddenly tell the future. They know the future.
That was it. The bald lady, was that what that was?
Yeah.
I saw that many years ago, and all I know is it was a big hit, and it sold a ton of DVDs, because every time I go into a secondhand shop, they got so many copies of Minority Report.
No one wants to watch that movie again?
And Minority Report. There's so many copies.
Sorry, what was the other one? I stepped on it.
The Matrix.
The Matrix.
That's how I judge the price range at different shops. I go in, and first thing I look for is The Matrix and Minority Report. if they're not like $1 a piece, then their prices are too high.
You just get out, just turn
Yeah.
around. Do you have Minority Report? Yes, we do. Is it $1? No, it isn't. See you later.
Hmm.
You know, it's funny though. Oh, look at this. Sarah with the hot take. Case in point, Jurassic Park. Barf. Whoa.
Hey, you are the only like you guys intentionally try to dump on that movie every chance you get.
Last time I watched it, I said I'm going in with an open mind. I wanna be in, like, everybody loves it. Everyone loves this Jurassic Park. And I sat there and I'm like, my God, I just don't get it. It is so friggin' boring. So boring. And
It's I will admit that movie does run on Spielberg magic. You know, it's you could pick apart the logic and everything, but it does.
it's not the logic. It's the character. I don't care about any of the characters. Like Sam Neill is no Indiana Jones.
Just because he's wearing a hat that looks like Indiana Jones doesn't mean he's trying to be
not,
Indiana Jones.
Like, I watch Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones and I'm captivated. I want to know what's going to happen with this guy. He's got the charisma or something. Sam Neill is just like, oh, it's just a guy. I don't care. The old guy, I don't care about him. Jeff Goldblum, I don't care about him. Like, there's just not a single character in that movie that I care about. You know, the best character is Newman, and he's like the weasel in it. He's just playing Newman. I don't even know his name. Wayne Knight. He's just Newman in the movie.
Dennis Nedry.
Whatever.
Hey, I can make you super upset. Look at this. See this? See this right here? This? I just recently
Why do you want to make me upset?
put all of my Jurassic Park trading cards into a binder. And look at it. I got the whole set. It's complete. I even got the rare hologram cards.
No, I don't want. I want this one.
Yep.
How do I go with it?
There you go. See it? Look. You see it? There.
There
I
you
have all the sticker cards that you can use to make a puzzle. You got all the artwork cards and the title card. I had where is it? Signed by Michael Crichton. Look at that.
I can't believe he signed that.
Yeah. Well, he wrote it.
I know he wrote the book.
Well,
Did he write the? Did he write the screenplay?
No, he wrote Jurassic Park, the book. This is all his brainchild.
Well, the movie is completely different from the book.
Well, it's not completely different, but they do change things.
Yeah, they take liberties. Yeah. I don't know. I got nothing wrong with like the concept or anything. It's just the movie itself.
It's just every time it gets mentioned, you have to dump on it. That's it.
And then the dinosaurs.
It's one thing if you don't like something, but when you have to go out of your way to.
And then the dinosaurs don't look
poop
good.
in the punch bowl.
The CG dinosaurs don't look good. The animatronic robot dinosaurs, they don't look good. None of them look good. But I will say they look better than the special effects in Minority Report. Those look pretty bad. And one more Spielberg movie I rewatched, Munich. You ever seen that?
Munich?
Munich,
no.
not Munich.
No. No.
So it's Spielberg's kind of like in the last part of his career, he's getting on like a spy and espionage thriller thing. He's almost like Hitchcock, kind of did the same thing. But this one is about in 1972 during the Olympics, some Palestinians went in and just murdered like a bunch of Israeli athletes. So then the Israeli I don't know what they're like the CIA of the Israeli government. They basically got one of their guys to build a team to go and assassinate all the people who assassinated these athletes. And they just went on a murderous rampage. They just they were blowing up buildings and killing dudes. And it's pretty good. The ending was a little too Spielberg-o. But the rest of it was good. Good movie. So that was it. So I've been consuming as much Spielberg as I can before.
Are you going to watch
show.
E.T.?
Yeah, I'm going to rewatch it.
Yeah,
even though I haven't watched it since I was a kid, but I have to see it again to see. And Sarah likes it anyway, so she'll be happy. That's
one that I never felt like I enjoyed, and I haven't seen it since I was a kid. But as a kid, I didn't get into it.
Spielberg wrote Congo? Oh no, Michael Crichton.
Michael Crichton.
That's right. Yeah. Well, see, like these these books are the movies are nothing like the books.
You know who's in Congo? Ernie Hudson,
I know that. Yeah,
Bruce Campbell.
is he?
He is.
I've never seen the movie. I heard
Me
it's not
neither.
good. But
I've heard it's terrible. Yeah.
I think I read the book. I don't know. I had a Michael Crichton.
You know what? I might have read the book also, but I really don't remember.
I definitely read The Andromeda Strain,
I read that one.
and it was in a book. Like, you ever get those books where it's like 3 books in one book?
That's tough when they're longer books. Those things are hard to hold.
Yeah, they are, but they were a good deal, so I would get them. So I remember I had a book with The Andromeda Strain, Congo, and I can't remember the other book, but I think I read 2, and I think I read those 2, and I didn't read the other book. Anyways.
If they are, short stories, great. But when you start putting 400-page books together,
I know,
man, it's like trying to, I read The Stand in paperback, and what was that, like 1,000-something pages? Those books are just impossible to hold after a while.
That's why you get an e-reader, and then it just doesn't matter. You can have your whole library in your pocket.
Yeah,
it was good
one
times.
Of these days.
Good times.
It's been a while since I read a book. I should read a book. Maybe I'll go back and read Shadows of the Empire.
I read that.
Yeah.
It was okay. I think that's the only Star Wars book I read.
I read another one, but I think for some reason this is the only one that I can tolerate. And even this, it's kind of like,
Yeah, there's some. I remember there was like a love story for Chewbacca and some female Wookiee, and they went to a Wookiee planet.
That's not in this one.
No? Oh, okay. Maybe I read more than one Star Wars book.
Oh my goodness.
I must have.
How do you write for Chewbacca? Like,
that's like that. What the holiday special? You ever see that?
I've seen bits and pieces. I couldn't stomach that.
Or they go visit Chewbacca's home, and it's Chewbacca's family, and there's like Grandpa Chewbacca. And
it's like Stinky Chewbacca. And Grumpy, and
and they're all like, so bad. Who thought this was a good idea? Oh,
somebody made money,
I suppose. Oh, that's what it was all for. Just they were advertising the upcoming sequel, right? The Star Wars. So.
Yeah, because that was it was right after the first one, right?
The holiday special.
Yeah, like it came out before Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, and they had like a preview of Boba Fett.
Right, and Mark Hamill hadn't had his car accident yet.
And B. Arthur's in it.
Yeah.
And Art Carney.
Art Carney, right.
Oh, man. You know what? I think I would watch the holiday special over any of the sequels and any of the prequels. And Rogue One. I still haven't seen Solo.
You know,
if you said to me, like, I haven't seen Solo yet, would you watch Solo or the holiday special? I'm going for the holiday special.
You know what? It's shorter, but like I've seriously tried to watch that. It is painful.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to watch.
It is, but at least I know I'd get some belly laughs out of it. But
that's the thing. It's not really that funny. It's just
it's so sad.
Just awkward. Yeah.
You definitely would need some friends to watch it with.
Yeah, friends and alcohol, I guess.
I also watched, because we watched the Rush Hour movies, and over on Disney Plus, they had the Shanghai movies with Jackie Chan. You know, Shanghai Noon and Shanghai Nights.
Yes, I know those.
With Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I got to say, it's only a 2-movie series, but that's one of the it's one of the series where the sequel outdoes the original.
I think I've only seen the second one, so I was a little.
You saw
lost.
the best one, then?
I guess, but it's been a very long time. I don't remember. It's. I want to say it's probably as on the same level as like a Rush Hour movie.
No, the Rush Hour movies are better.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the Rush Hour movies are better, partly because they use Jackie Chan more, and it kind of pains me to say this in a way, but Chris Tucker is better than Owen Wilson. Like he is more funny. Owen Wilson comes off
Owen
dry
Wilson is
toast.
nothing to
He
to go
always
on
seems to be.
about.
He seems like he's struggling to find a punchline all the time. Like he's like in the middle of telling a joke, and then, okay, where's the punchline? And he's just like, I can't find it. I keep going and talking, and something funny is going to come out of my mouth. That's his whole shtick.
The only thing I know about him is that he says the same line in every movie he's in or something. He
What's
says like "wow" or something. There have been so many different people that comment on this, or they do supercuts of him saying some phrase that he says in every single movie. He just works it in there somehow. I don't know.
it wouldn't surprise me.
He's nothing. He's never been a draw.
No, no. I mean, he was okay. Like he's kind of like Will Ferrell in a way, where if you have him in small, like when he just comes in for like a small bit and then he's gone, it's fine. It's like palatable. But like when he's in the mix all the time, it's kind of like, okay, I'm enough. That's enough with Owen
He's
Wilson.
the kind of actor that needs good direction, like when he can be used appropriately and not just take over and start, you know,
Yeah.
dictating what his character is going to do.
Anyway, Shanghai Noon. It's okay. I mean, it's about Jackie Chan is over in Japan. Oh no, sorry, China. Sorry, Japan. Oh my goodness. He's over in China, and he's like a soldier for the emperor or whoever it is in China, the head guy, King China guy, and his some bad guy comes in. Of course, it's a white devil that comes in, and it's one of the guys from Game of Thrones, and steals the diamond. It's just terrible. Steals the diamond, and then the daughter goes. Diamond goes. Daughter goes. So Jackie Chan has to come over to America. Follows this guy to America, to the Wild West. Of course, it takes place in the 1860s, and it's a fish out of water thing. Jackie Chan's the fish out of water. Meets Owen Wilson, who is a charlatan, and comedy ensues from there. But the problem with the movie was okay. It wasn't. It was less than average. It was just like right down the middle. But they didn't use Jackie Chan a lot. Like in the Rush Hour, at least the first two Rush Hour movies, they used him, used his abilities and his talents and whatnot. Whereas this was just like kind of like making fun of that he can't pronounce words, and I don't know, it just kind of falls flat.
Well, I guess was this early on in the Jackie Chan turning Hollywood career?
No, it was year 2000 it came out. So it was after
All right.
Rush Hour and Rumble in the Bronx and all that. So they should have come up with something a little better for him.
Well, I'm guessing when he started making American movies, maybe a lot of directors weren't quite sure how to use him because they can't dictate the kind of action that he does. So that's why he normally does his own thing, right? He's his own stunt coordinator and fight choreographer, right?
Yeah.
So maybe a lot of American directors weren't quite sure what to do with all of his skill and just played it for comedy instead.
Well, they had a different director for the sequel, Shanghai Nights, and that guy knew what to do with Jackie Chan because they let Jackie Chan. They let him go. They let him do his thing. Like he's fighting with a ladder and all that stuff and doing the moves and stuff. And you're like, oh my goodness, this craziness. There's a couple of things with wires. Like there's a couple of, which I kind of hate to see Jackie Chan have to bring himself down to the wire thing, but it was still pretty good. There's some good stunts. Like it's like any sequel. Like some of the jokes are recycled from the first one, and it's a bit of I thought it was going to be a reverse where Owen Wilson ends up going to China and then but they end up in England for some reason, probably because it was cheaper to shoot in England or something, or to dress up sets to look like England than old China. But
I'll tell you why. it's because they had to keep the title. And the title,
Shanghai
or
Nights.
Shanghai, you can't do Shanghai, China, Shanghai Noon. Okay, there's the
High
two
Noon.
different Shanghai Nights. Okay, borrowing off of that. So you can't, it's like the juxtaposition of the two different things in the title. So
They were that hung up on the title.
that,
Like,
yes,
wow.
yes,
I guess
that's the
so.
selling point. That's how you have to market it.
Anyways, they used him a lot better. And plus, you had Donnie Yen in the movie, who plays Eat Man in all the Eat Man movies. Were two great, kung fu masters coming together and getting them to watch them fight in this movie. That was
Wasn't there
like,
something about fighting on a fireworks boat or something?
yes, that's what it was.
Okay, that
But
is it. Maybe.
unfortunately, when they do come together, it kind of just goes nowhere. I was like ready for it. I was ready for them to start, but I don't know. For some reason, it didn't take off like it should have.
Mm.
I was a little bit let down, but there was enough Jackie Chan in it to make it good. So
Okay.
there you go. That's what I've been up to.
Nice. Hey, I started watching something else. Look at this here. I have V,
Nice.
the miniseries.
I want to watch that.
I have V, the Final Battle 1, and V, the Final Battle 2.
Cool.
I have been watching this V miniseries, which as I'm watching it, I realized there were little snippets in my head that I do remember seeing at least parts of this when I was a kid. And as I see it, I was like, oh, wow, I'm surprised I remember that. I'm surprised I remember this little thing. I guess my uncle watched it. He was totally into science fiction. But seeing it now, I can see why I don't remember much, because there's a lot of talking. And little kids,
Yeah.
listen to talking.
Yeah.
But this miniseries is so good.
It is.
I'm really impressed.
It's holding up.
It's so well done. I mean, it's got its goofy moments. It's got a couple of things that don't look so great. If you want to talk about rubber puppets and animatronics and
Yeah.
things, a couple little goofy things. But my goodness, the amount of characters that they juggle in this story, and just the scope of the whole thing, and how well it's done. It's like, this is from a really good time of science fiction before it was totally dumbed down and just got driven by all the explosions and stuff. Really great stuff. I've finished 4 of the 5 parts, so I just have about 85 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
Of this story.
And is that it? Is that like the entire series?
I don't know. Because I found the first disc in a secondhand shop, and they had all 3 there. And I went and I saw it, and the first disc was like $3, and then the other 2 were each like $5 a piece. And I was like, I'm not sure, if I don't remember this. Am I going to like it? Let me just get the first one, see how it goes. And if I want to watch more, I'll come back and get the others. So I had bought it. I waited a few days. I finally watched it. And like 15 minutes in, I'm like, this is great. I really got to go get the others, because I want to see everything, because I'm really enjoying this. And then I watched all the way to the end of the first disc, which was 1983, that first disc. It was 2 parts. And then the others pick up in 1984. There was 3 more parts, and I assumed that it was like they finished one part and then they made another one because it was popular. But like, the story ends mid-story. Like, it's just such a cliffhanger. It's like, oh, what's going to happen? So I went back to the store, and of course they were gone. Somebody else had picked up those, so I had to order them online.
Whoa.
And I was like waiting, like, oh man, it's anticipation. It took like 3 days for them to get here. I was like, oh man, got to see the rest of this V. So I started watching it, and it just continues. And man, it's great.
So what is the series about?
The series is about, it starts right away. Alien ships come down. Independence Day, when all the big ships go over the major cities. like the big
Yeah.
circle ships.
Yeah.
That's what happens in V.
Okay.
But they don't blow everything up. It's all politics. It's all politics. They come
Nice.
down, and then the everybody's friendly. Everybody's like, "Hey, how you doing? We're your neighbors, and we're just here. We had a problem. We're down here, but we're gonna help out. Just do a little what's good for you, good for us. A little mutual culture exchange and everything like that." And then you find out what's going on, and it's such real life politics because there are times when things happen and people try to expose something, and then something happens like, hey, look at the truth, and then the next day it's just them like, oh, that didn't happen. No, it was just some terrorist hoax. That was totally fake. You think back over the past couple of years of American politics, it's exactly the same. You
Wow.
just keep going. It's like, no, that didn't happen. Forget it. No, this is the truth right here. And great characters, really well balanced, and the whole thing was just like one guy named Kenneth Johnson who created this thing. I think it was based off of like an old book or something, but basically put it all together, directed it, wrote it, got everything in. It seemed like he was replaced when they did the second part. They had some kind of disagreement, and they got in some new writers and directors and stuff. And you can kind of see it starts to splinter a little bit at the end, where it's like what are we focusing on now, and kind of jumps around, but it's still really good. I kind of think of it like the original series, Star Trek. If you look at the whole, there's great stuff there, great characters, great design, great stories and all this. But then you got, those other episodes that they're not so great. So you got like little moments like that in this, but for the most part, solid, very entertaining.
How many episodes is it?
This is broken up into 5 parts, and each part is about 90 minutes.
Okay.
So there's the original miniseries, there's the final battle, and then after that there was a TV series, and I still haven't finished this one, so I'm not sure where it ends and what happens in the TV series. I don't know if it's like still continuing or if it does have a conclusion and then kind of picks up again. I hope that there's a nice conclusion at the end of this, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to track down the TV show.
Because I remember finding like a complete V set, but I didn't know what it was. Like I didn't know if it was the TV show or the miniseries or whatever. Yeah. So I ended up never getting it and then forgot all about it.
Well, that's what I've learned. The one that says the miniseries and the one called the final battle. That's what I see grouped together in most box sets.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I got nothing left.
No,
that's it.
Not playing any video games.
I've been playing. Been poking away at the Walking Dead games, like the point and click adventure games by Telltale.
I still have not played any of those.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, I like how the very first one they did. It's called The Walking Dead, and you play as this guy named Lee who's looking after this little girl, Clementine. And it's kind of cool because like the first game, you're basically her mentor. You're teaching her like what to do in this dystopian zombie plague-filled world, and how to survive. You're basically teaching her how to survive. And then in the second game, you get to play as Clementine. So you're using all of the stuff that the Lee taught you in the first game, and you're implementing it. So it's pretty cool. It's the only stupid thing is you have like these conversations with people in that, and it gives you like this time thing. Like you only got a few seconds to answer this person, right? So how are you going to respond? Are you going to say it this way? Are you going to say it that way? Are you going to say it that way? Or you can just say nothing. That could be a response too. And you'll say something to someone, and there'll be a little message that'll come up top. That person will remember your response. They'll remember in the future how you responded. Like, oh, geez, I don't know. How's this going to affect the rest of the game? And I don't think this is a spoiler to say, but pretty much everyone you talk to just ends up dying anyway. So it does, like, who cares? Oh no, they remembered it. They're dead in like 50 minutes later anyway. So who cares? But
So wait a minute. You said there's a time thing. So what happens if you don't choose something by the end of the time?
I think the default is that you just said nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess this probably wouldn't affect a whole lot then if you just keep your mouth shut.
I'm sure that there are people that have played it that way, where you just say nothing. But I usually try to give responses like that I would. But sometimes I misread things too. Like the thing's counting down. Like there was this one time where Clementine had her. Oh no, it wasn't Clementine. It was another character that you were playing as in the third game, which kind of loses the thread of the thing, because I really wish you'd still continue to play as Clementine for the third game, but you're playing as this other character, and his son is pointing a gun at someone, right? And you don't want your son to kill the guy, right? They settle down. So I always try to diffuse the situation, right? And so the thing was, the response was, what are you waiting for? Tell him to put the gun down, and something else. I can't remember what it was. But I went with, I'm looking at this kid, and the character tells him, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the kid's like, I don't know. And one of the responses was, "What are you waiting for?" So I thought, what are you waiting? I don't know. I was just thinking, what are you waiting for? Put the gun down. What are you waiting for? So that's what I selected. And the kid starts shooting at the guy. I'm like, oh, and you can't go back. You can't, it saves right away. I guess you could try to exit out of the game or something, but you can't go back and take back an answer. So now that guy is totally pissed off at me, because I let my kid shoot at him, but I didn't do it on purpose. But it doesn't matter anyways, because within 20 minutes, that character got eaten by a zombie, and it's fine anyways. So pretty much do whatever you want. It's crazy. At the beginning of the game, of the first game, you start off with this crew, and it's Clementine and Lee and this crew. And then by the end of the second game, Clementine's the only one left standing. Everyone else is gone. Everyone else is dead. But it's fun. I'm fun. Anyways.
Yeah, I've heard about all those Telltale games. I've never played one.
I hear the one you probably should try is that Wolf Among. I think it's a Wolf Among Us.
I do have that.
Yeah, I that seems to be something. That's the one I want to get to that one next. I haven't played it myself, but that seems like something that would be in your wheelhouse. Yes, Chris Roberts. We already talked about He-Man. You're gonna have to rewind.
See, and, everybody still says He-Man.
There you go. Yep.
doesn't matter what you call this show. Doesn't matter who you focus on. Everybody's going to call it He-Man.
So Eric says the order is mini-series, final battle, then the series.
Mm-hmm. There was apparently a remake that I'm guessing was terrible.
When are remakes good? I still don't think there's a good remake. Although they brought back He-Man, and you're gonna have to rewind back to the start of the show to see what we said about
Kevin couldn't wait to start ragging on that.
Maybe I did. I don't know.
It.
I'll have to go back.
We finished talking about
that's
V2.
It. You know what? This is what happens, Chris, when you tune in an hour and a half too late. We're wrapping up the show now. Okay, that's it.
Talked about Poltergeist too. That's probably another
we
Chris
did.
Roberts thing.
We talked about Spielbergo and
and George.
We talked about George. Follow this podcast that is better consistent than STC Pod. I think we're consistent. STC Pods is, I don't know. We're gonna in 2 weeks. If they don't do a show within 2 weeks, we're gonna have a funeral for him. That's it. We're gonna have to have people come on and say, I remember STC Pod. That do a eulogy. I'll have people come on and do eulogies for STC Pod. That'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Get a boner with Retro Fandango. Go check out our Discord. I don't think anything has happened in there in a month, but you never know. Go and dust it off. See what's going on over there. Oh, look at that! Rocket Sauce would come. You would show up. That'd be fun.
Remember the time that Bill was upset with Joe for being late?
No. Did that ever happen? He was so punctual. See? A funeral would be fun. Be good times.
Remember the time that Joe wasn't interested in what they were talking about?
We could play
That was a great episode.
We could play taps while you're doing all this. That'd be good times. All right, I think that's it. That's all we got.
All right, go put together your Spielberg list.
It's gonna be a good list, I think. I'm gonna have one thing on my list that I'm pretty sure is gonna piss off some people. One thing. I'm gonna let you in on it.
You know what you should do? You should do, if this Spielberg one goes well, tell them to do a top 10 Clint Eastwood movies. Yeah, you get 10 easily.
Yeah. Well, there's
a lot
Dirty
of
Harry.
Yeah.
Or all the Dirty Harrys.
Almost all the Dirty Harrys.
And
He's
then
got a lot of Westerns.
The Good, the Bad, and the Uglies. And yeah, he's got a lot of movies.
Even some of the more modern stuff, like Gran Torino.
Yeah. Unforgiven, even though that's like 30 years old now, but still, it's a good one.
That's a good movie.
Yeah. I think we still have enough for Spielberg. I think he did direct something like over 30 movies that he directed. But let me tell you, the thing I'm going to do, I'm going to include, I hope they're not listening, I'm going to include the episode of Columbo that he directed. That's right.
He did a Columbo, huh?
He did the very first Columbo.
Really?
There was two pilot movies, and then when it became a series, he did the very first episode of the series. There you go. It's kind of like V. There was the mini series, then there was Columbo: The Final Battle, and then the series started. That's how it went. Okay, that's it. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.